Today, Mayor Justin Elicker meeting with the Department of Justice along with local law enforcement to launch the first call-in for Project Safe Neighborhoods since the COVID-19 pandemic started. Since the COVID-19 pandemic struck our state about a year ago, violent crimes have been on the rise.
In 2020, we saw an increase in violence that we hadn't seen, and I would say probably the past decade, where our shootings and our non-fatal shootings and our homicides, were up from years past. So as we start 2021, we also were plagued by violence in those first 6 weeks.
The uptick in violence was the springboard to relaunch Project Safe Neighborhoods. This program is a facet of a national initiative that works to reduce gun violence and promote safer communities. This program helps those getting out of prison, which can be an extremely difficult transition.
Having a felony doesn't prevent you from getting a job, but many people think that. They think there's no other alternatives but to go back to what they used to do.
Through these difficult times, Project Safe Neighborhoods helps provide resources to these individuals to encourage them to put their best foot forward and move on from their prior mistakes.
Over 900 individuals come back to New Haven every year from prison. And historically, people have been just dropped off with basically a good luck.
This initiative works to combat gun violence by informing incarcerated individuals being released the risks of joining street gangs, the consequences of possessing illegal firearms, and committing acts of violence.
Project Safe Neighborhoods is a mechanism to bridge that gap and to provide services and support to as many individuals as possible returning home to New Haven.
Project Safe Neighborhoods also places emphasis on working with local leaders and faith-based communities to provide job assistance and educational programming resources as well. Project Safe Neighborhood is another great initiative that the Elm City is taking to make this a safer and better place for families. In New Haven, Lauren Zenzi, Fox 61 News.